Panther.
Who posted it?
Black Films Rock. Koimoy.com.
I don't know any of those websites.
I'll share it to.
But what's wrong with that though?
I don't want him to be the new Black Panther.
Are we recasting, or is it just another actor that was in the first movie?
He wasn't in the first movie.
No, he wasn't in the first movie.
And I would bet you they're not recasting.
No,
they're gonna find some way to kill off Chadwick Boseman's version.
He'll be Black Panther, but he will not be T'Challa. Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's going to be really hard to be the Black Panther without the flower power.
That's true. We'll find out. We're live though.
Oh.
Are you guys ready to roll?
No. Yes, let's do it.
Your confidence is overwhelming.
Bruh.
All right, here we go. On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
4K is back, baby!
When you wish upon a star, Disney's new streaming platform?
And is A24 setting up for disappointment?
It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 556 for February 24th, 2021. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv. Nico?
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina?
Tina Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Zach?
Zach Martin, a small child who found a Bloomberg terminal.
And Nathan is still in the snow in Detroit, I believe. I believe that's what's happening. It was 72 today, y'all.
Yeah, it felt freaking fantastic outside.
I walked 6 miles. I went out, walked the city, inspected the bomb damage.
I will say Shadow is severely disappointed because the snow and ice was like her favorite part of life so far.
Oh yeah, I saw some. Did you post some video of her running around?
One of us did. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're talking about pet things. I learned something really hilarious about Oliver, my cat. He likes me to pick him up and take him out with me when I go throw the poop away in the trash in the back. I went to take him out with me when it was snowing. He got so scared he like dug his claws into me to get back into the house. He was terrified of it. It was hilarious because that cat's not afraid of anything. So it was.
I love those pictures where people open the door and the cat decides to try and go out, but it steps 1 foot and then it comes back in, and all you see is just one little paw print. It's like the world's smallest nope.
Yep, that's it. And Oliver did eventually get out in the snow when it wasn't snowing. He didn't mind it on the ground. And then I had to chase him out in flip-flops. And of course I fell face first into the snow.
We took biscuits outside for him to look at it, and he was mainly like, holy crap, what is this? Oh, the air. I want to go back in.
Well, at least he didn't pee on you, because if I took Kaylee outside, that's what would happen.
Shadow was literally.
She'd be like, hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow was literally like, fuck yeah, ice.
That's awesome. So, what else has everybody been up to?
I have started watching a show that I know I'm going to get judged so hard for.
Do tell.
But I've started 90 Day Fiance.
I saw your post about
judge
that.
the shit out
I finished the first season of Happily Ever After.
I saw that.
Like, I hate this so much.
I just posted I'm sorry to Nico in that thread.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something.
Yeah, I blame our friends Jackie and Lauren in Virginia, especially Jackie, because when we went to Disney, we stayed with them, and she was watching 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, and I just got sucked into it. So I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to start watching it because I have Discovery Plus, TLC comes with it, might as well. So.
That's when things go wrong. When you say might as well, that's always when things go wrong. So I actually was excited because have you guys watched, I know we're going to come to TV later, but since we're talking about what we've been doing, have Have you guys watched any of Warrior on Cinemax?
No, we don't have Cinemax.
So Warrior has an interesting heritage. It is based on a script and story arc written by Bruce Lee. He wrote it for himself. And when he pitched it, they didn't go with it. They ended up doing their own thing, which ended up being Kung Fu from the 70s. So his daughter found all of these writings where he had written out a lot more of what was how the story was supposed to go. And she made a deal with Cinemax to produce it. And basically it is fictional characters set in the era of the Tong Wars in California during the height of sort of that Chinese immigration period. And it is awesome. It's bloody as fuck in some places, though. It's like a martial arts TV series, honestly. I mean, it's like the main guy they have playing the role that would have been Bruce Lee, is they are training him and choreographing him in Bruce Lee's fighting style. He has a lot of the moves and stuff, and it's a really good story with cool characters, but also it's like bloody as hell. It's great. There's 2 seasons, and you guys can see it now because it's on HBO Max.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys got I had watched season 1 and just randomly saw it pop up in my suggestions on that season 2 was up on HBO Max, and then that just ruined me for a couple of days till I got it all watched. There's 10 episodes. So you guys should check it out. That's literally all I've been doing as far as free time. Zach's spending more money. That's what he's been doing.
To the moon.
On what?
To the moon.
We're going to the moon, baby. we started going to stratosphere this today.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, GME, it's gonna happen.
GME's going back up. I'm watching, hoping to break even on my AMC.
Speaking of HBO Max, I actually saw something. Criterion has a section on there.
Yeah.
And they there's a film I've wanted to check out for a long time called Tampopo.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, you texted me you were watching that.
Yeah. I have always wanted to check this movie out.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, that's a great movie.
It looks entertaining.
So for anyone who doesn't know, it's a Japanese film from 1985. It's basically a almost modern day Western. Guy goes into a town into a ramen shop, and then beats off some drunkards that are there, and the ramen shop is horrible.
Well, I mean, so wait, you said
hold on, beats off?
He beats off, because that's 2 very different movies.
Well, he I hate you people. You know what I mean, damn it. We get the beaten off later.
It's you, so we do have to clarify, because for you, it could very well be either miscommunication or legit porn.
Okay, well, the porn comes later, but he pledges to help the ramen shop out because it's like awful. And it's full of these vignettes that all center around food. And it can be something heartwarming or something, about how expensive food can be, or fancy, or how manners are, or how sexy food can be. It's all these sort of stories interwoven. And it's fucking fantastic. So
isn't it somewhat comedic?
Yeah. I mean, there are a couple scenes that were pretty funny.
Yeah, because it looks like when you mentioned it, I had seen it for years in the Criterion Collection, but I haven't actually seen the movie yet either. And so I went with the trailer, and it looks like fun, like lighthearted.
Yeah, it's great.
All right.
It's one of those Criterion movies, because not to be Criterion here, because they do good stuff mostly. I wish they would go into 4K, but there are some Criterion titles you go, yeah, that's some pompous ass movie.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that more in a little bit later.
But this is one that's like, no, it's just a great movie. Yeah.
All right.
That's the only thing I've watched.
What else is a great movie?
Number
10?
Top 10?
All right. Are you sure? Because number 10 is The War with Grandpa.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Damn it!
Yeah, it made another $232,000.
Who is watching this movie?
$20 million.
Conspiracy.
that
No
movie
one's
has made.
watching this movie.
So apparently, I was researching today, by the way, if the current schedule holds, and I found out why AMC is open and Regal is not. I mean, obviously it's money because of pandemic or whatever, but Regal has put their opening and closing decisions on New York and Los Angeles.
Well, New York just opened up 25%.
Yeah, and that is if the current slate of movies holds their dates, and then California can do the same thing, then they're going to open in April. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Dune and the Matrix are back on for IMAX.
Mm-hmm. So number 9 on the list is News of the World. It made $241,000. It's made a little over 11.5 million. Number 8 is Land. It made $500,000, 1.6 million so far. Number 7 is Nomad Land. Made $500,000 opening weekend.
I could have swore this has been playing for the
It's
past
been-
like 2 weeks.
No, it's been in film festivals and stuff, but
No, dude, I remember. Like, you remember when Lord of the Rings was coming to AMC IMAX?
yeah.
So our local in Franklin, so it's a bit of a drive, but our local AMC IMAX, the only one that's open, was playing this.
I don't know. Maybe it was a limited opening. You know,
I guess. I mean, it's
they're
weird
all kind of
because I'm like,
limited right now.
I'm like, damn, y'all are playing Nomad Land, or other places are playing Lord of the Rings. Come on, some people would go, maybe.
Number 6 is Monster Hunter. Made $520,000. Made that 13.4 million so far. Number 5 is The Marksman. It made $781,000. It's made 11.4 million so far. Number 4 is Wonder Woman 1984.
Damn.
Made $800,000. It made. It's made 42 million so far. A little over 42.5.
That's a damn shame.
Number 3 is Judas and the Black Messiah. That made $900,000. It's 3.4 it's made so far. Number 2.
Anybody seen this yet?
No. Just
Yeah, not yet.
I hear good things.
I hear good things.
Number 2 is The Little Things. You want to hear some bad things? Check 2 shows ago when I watched this crap. It made 1.2 million, 11.8 million so far. And number 1 is The Croods, A New Age. It made another 1.7 million, made 50.8 so far, and it's already out to watch at home now too.
I was about to say you can buy this on Blu-ray.
Yep. So let's talk about this Spider-Man new Spider-Man title for the new film.
Which one?
The real one. My favorite one is the fake one that Amblin actually replied to. I posted that in our
Which
group.
one? There's several fake ones.
Yeah,
There's
I know
three. There's 3 fake ones.
I
It's
like
like
Home Slice.
Yeah, Home Slice is pretty funny.
Phone Home is the one that Amblin replied to. Home Slice, and I forget what the third
Home
one.
Wrecker.
Home Wrecker. That's right.
Dude, I didn't
I wish
believe
it was
any of
called Home
those.
Wrecker.
And
No.
I was like, until Regal is posting this shit, I ain't believing it.
Well, I didn't think you weren't supposed to believe it, but
No, dear God, no.
People were posting it like they believed it.
Well, okay. So it's those geek news sites that basically regurgitate every announcement, every social media post that any comic book movie star posts. Believed it, because I think Holland's went out first. Tom Holland posted it on Instagram, and then everyone went, "It's the title of the new Spider-Man movie." And then the kid who plays Ned Leeds, his best friend, also posted it, and then everyone was like, "Wait a moment, that's a different one."
Zendaya came
Zendaya
in,
posted
and they're like,
hers.
and
And
it's
then-
absolutely that. It's the sites that the little more sketch sites that all they do is just copy and paste. They actually don't research what they're posting a lot of times.
Which it's a great troll.
Slash
It's
film.
hilarious. It was
Actually,
it was
no.
so
That
fun.
that Slash Film is like way more reputable than the one I'm thinking of. Which is the one that
Slash Film
Nathan
will do
hates.
that occasionally. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, they announced it today with a fun little, like, not really
I
a
love
trailer,
that.
just it's a skit where the 3 people that we just mentioned were called into John Watts, the director's office, or in they leave, and in the background you see the title.
and
of
they're
the
ribbing
actual-
on Tom Holland because it's like, man, you spoil everything. That's why they
Right.
don't tell you.
So the movie is called
No Way Home.
Or No Way Home. Thank you.
No Way
Sorry.
Home. Yeah, and I'm usually a fan.
Damn, we
of
couldn't
that,
even get it right on our podcast.
right. I'm usually a fan of that kind of like continued like through line, but I'm kind of over all this home stuff.
I was about to say.
For some reason.
I'm
Would you say that it's almost making you homesick?
Oh.
No.
Yeah, sick of this shit as well.
Sick of this shit? Okay.
Yeah.
I get where they're going, and I think the name kind of does lean into some expectations of what kind of story it's going to be, because he is going to be back in New York City. He's going to have J. Jonah Jameson after him, his identity reveal, all this stuff.
I think he's going to get sucked into the multiverse, and he has no way home.
I have an opinion about the multiverse thing.
I mean, we know Miles Morales is going to be in this, right?
Well, okay, so I think what we know is Andrew Garfield is going to be in it, and Tobey Maguire is going to be in it. But you know what my feeling about this whole everybody's getting so lit up about the idea that the multiverse is going to make an appearance in Spider-Man. I would love it if they were just like weird cameos. I would wager you it's going to be a post-credit scene.
Probably, yeah.
I bet they've got their own story to tell in this movie.
I don't think it's going to be a post-credit scene just because. I don't think it's a post-credit scene because usually, and this is the weird case where it's Marvel and Sony, but Marvel at least is way better at keeping those under wraps. So that's what makes me think it's not a post-credit scene.
Maybe
it
could be a misdirect also.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think misdirect is highly likely. If they do bring Miles in, I want it to be like a Roger Rabbit-esque situation where it's the animated Miles.
Oh my god, that would be awesome.
I would absolutely love it, especially with like all the hype that's around it. If it's just like a Stan Lee cameo where they're obviously the actors, but they're playing like random street taco vendor or something. I think that would just be amazing.
You say that, but like, didn't we learn how that sucks with Ghostbusters 2016?
Yeah, but that movie was not. So it's not a fair comparison.
Okay.
Those kind of cameos were not the problem with that movie.
Mm-hmm. If that movie had been good, we would have enjoyed those cameos a whole lot more. So
I mean, you know us. We're all going to be right there in line to see it.
Of course.
Are we?
Especially since...
Yes. Well, yes. I don't know about you.
I don't know. I mean, after that last one, I don't give a fuck about this movie.
Nico will be.
I will be
because
it's a
Spider-Man movie. I'm going to be there opening.
Of course.
I just
because it's a Spider-Man movie.
And it's coming out late December, so we should all be vaccinated by then.
We'll be good.
More like Spider-Man coming home. It's cinema.
So I won't even acknowledge that.
I want to acknowledge that point though, because I think that's a very fascinating point that got kind of pushed under the rug. When the title screen shows up for Spider-Man No Way Home, it says only in movie theaters on Christmas. So it is not Marvel's putting their foot in the sand. It's not going to Disney Plus, or at least nothing else at launch. At least maybe fairly soon thereafter.
But if you euphemisms, and I'm very uncomfortable.
Are you?
What?
Yes. He combined putting their foot down and drawing the line in the sand.
I did.
I don't know. It feels like an average
footing.
But if you pay attention to like their movie slate, most of what Disney has promoted for this year, they have that tag on. There's only a limited number of titles that they're agreeing to do the $30 premium thing with, and so far it's been shit stuff. I mean, it's been just like what have they other than Soul? But Soul they put out for free, which is weird. I think they could have maybe justified the money on that one because people liked it. But yeah, I'm happy to see that only in theaters thing. And I
would have paid for Soul because the word of mouth was so good, and then the film was so good.
Yeah,
you know what the word of mouth was for Mulan?
Not good.
Like when it first came out, it was just.
Actually, I remember the early reviews were all glowing of that movie. Now that I'm thinking of it,
word of mouth. I'm not
because
talking.
It was
like the weekend it dropped. Word of mouth tanked that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when we saw it, the movie tanked that movie because it was terrible.
Because it was awful.
Another day goes by where I don't regret waiting for that shit and not paying for it.
Yep. Well,
I don't
didn't
regret stealing Nathan's Disney
exactly. I was
Plus.
going to say the same thing. I mean, I had to watch it, but I didn't pay for it. I think that Zach's feeling on the previous movie is valid. I didn't like the previous movie that much either, but still Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of my top 2 favorite Marvel characters, so I'm gonna have to.
I will say I didn't like it as much as Homecoming, but
Homecoming's a better movie.
That's true. This whole trilogy, I've just kind of been. It's the most lukewarm, just towards both of them. So when it's like this one comes out, I'm like,
I'm sorry, but anytime a Spider-Man movie comes out, it is going to get held up against Spider-Man 2. And nothing has compared to it.
I'm going to hold it up against Into the Spider-Verse because that was actually good.
Into the Spider-Verse is the second best Spider-Man movie, period. I just feel like I like Tom Holland. They just haven't hit the nail on the head yet. If this one gets back into the neighborhood Spider-Man feel, then maybe this will be the one. I'm hoping this will be the one. All right, what else do we got, you guys?
The Mortal Kombat trailer.
The Mortal Kombat trailer. Did you guys watch this? Oh, I know, Nico, because you shared it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I saw it.
I watched it again today. So what is everybody's thoughts about Mortal Kombat?
He has a birthmark. What does that mean? He was born with it.
Maybe
Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you. I was so confused at what that meant. Thank you.
So that little contrivance is just bland.
Look, I'm fully expecting the script.
Hang on, Zach. You're getting too fired up. All right.
The fights look good.
The fights do look decent. I just
Okay, so I'm the one who's the outcast who has a different opinion of this movie.
Okay.
I know this movie is going to be shit. It looks like shit. But you know what else was shit? The first Mortal Kombat movie. And you know who enjoys it?
Boy, I really hope we can move past the first Mortal Kombat movie as being better. It's only been nearly 30 years.
That movie is terrible too. I feel like there is no way to make a good movie from Mortal Kombat from that game. There just isn't. But if you're okay with it,
I will say I like Raiden a lot more in the trailer than in the first one.
No,
I like Raiden.
Christopher Lambert is the best.
Yeah, there can be only one.
There'd be only one Raiden.
That's right. Yeah,
I do like that they have Kung Lao.
Is that a thing in the I'm sorry. Yeah, Kung Lao would be cool. I always loved Kung Lao. Just throwing a razor hat is so fun.
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing though in the current Mortal Kombat game where they have like movie edition versions of like Raiden and Shang Tsung that's like the actors?
Do they?
You could download as DLC.
I didn't know. Do they? Wow. All right.
But yeah, I love the first Mortal Kombat movie. It's just so fun.
If I can't see the wires, it's not a Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh my god! As long as the fight scenes are cool, as long as there's a not terrible story element to thread the fight scenes together, I'm okay.
Thank God it's rated R.
Yeah,
it has to be rated
R.
It's
got to be rated R. It's gonna have fatalities.
You're a fan of the 1997 one. That's PG-13.
I know, it's a different time.
But
it was a different time.
At least it's not Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Also, so
Mortal Kombat 2, the second movie, Annihilation, is just hands down terrible.
We don't talk about Annihilation.
Yeah. It went.
I tried to block that out. Thanks for that. No, going in depth with the trailer, it's one of those things where it's like every time that I find something that I like in it, almost immediately it's followed by something that I hate. Like I love Sub-Zero's sequences in the trailer, but I feel like because they did him so well when they introduced the Scorpion character, it feels a little flat. So it was just weird for me seeing both of those characters who in my mind, they've always been associated as like dual sides of a coin. You either get Scorpion fans or you get Sub-Zero fans.
Right.
And it's like Sub-Zero fans obviously made this movie because Scorpion looks like shit.
I mean, well,
Um,
Sub-Zero
so-
is the better of the two.
Sub-Zero is the better of the two.
Do
Sub-Zero.
we
I
have
agree,
any?
I'm
Do we have
just
any
saying.
Scorpion fans?
So I don't know. I just put the trailer on, and before I even hit play, I knew
Yeah.
it was going to be a garbage pile. And when
I'm
I
not
played
sure
it, I'm
how
like,
I feel about Sonya. Kato for me was a weird vibe, especially with how close they
Yeah.
seem to make the friendship between Kato and Sonya.
I didn't get the feeling that
So-
it was a close friendship. More like they had to work together.
but
I felt
Well,
friendship buddy vibe.
what difference does it make if they are though? I mean, what difference does it make? Is there a reason I shouldn't care?
Because they weren't. They were like mortal enemies. in the
Because they're
first-
mortal fucking enemies.
Oh, I don't pay any attention to the story in those games. You pay attention?
Wait, there's a
There's a
story in those
story?
games?
I just
let's be real.
bite.
Mortal Kombat is the porn of video games.
Yeah, get me talented
Nobody
money
cares
shots.
about the plot.
Yeah.
Get to the fighting. It's the same
I
for porn.
literally always
No one
hit the
cares
skip
about
button.
the plot. Get to the sex.
Yeah, I'm like literally skipping past the cutscenes always. I didn't even know that was a
You
thing
never
until
play
just now.
story mode. You just fight against people.
I do, but you can still hit the skip button in story.
Dude, when I
mode.
played the story mode of Mortal Kombat, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. This is dumb.
I was happy that they did this thing in Mortal Kombat 11 where the fatalities are cinematic because I'm
Oh,
skipping
they're
all
so
the
good.
cinematic shit because it's the cutscenes. I'm not watching them.
Like the fatalities, the one thing I enjoy about Mortal Kombat every game is seeing the fatalities and always being just shocked at how violent they keep getting.
Mhm.
Even this most recent, I think the most recent Mortal Kombat, actually, it was the only one I was like, oh, is that all? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, there's
Which is
some
really sad.
there's a few fatalities in the new one that are like, that
I mean,
aren't there. I kind of liked some of the earlier fatalities where they just went so extreme they got silly. Like then it changed from fatalities to babalities, and you were turning them.
I will say some of the fatalities are enough to give you nightmares, Nico.
Haha,
Okay.
yeah.
I see what you did
Yeah.
there. I see what you did.
Is it
I
nightmare?
see what you did. I see what
You
you
Nightmares.
did.
attempted it, it
Talk
failed.
about getting nightmares. Stephen King story.
But
It's
this
a
was not
stretch.
really a nightmare scary
Follow
one.
it.
Could have better. But
He's like, I deserve
Oh, wait.
better for a transition.
yeah,
I couldn't
I agree.
think of better.
I'm not going to dwell on it. So, filmmakers Edgar Wright, creator of the Cornetto trilogy, like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, at World's End, also the director of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, is getting his running shoes ready as he tackles an adaptation of Stephen King's The Running Man with Paramount Pictures, according to Deadline. Wright will work with Michael Bacall, who will pen the script, supposedly being more faithful to King's original novel as opposed to the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1987 movie. The Running Man was originally released as one of King's Richard Bachman books, where he went under a pseudonym, so people didn't know it was Stephen King writing these books. It's set in a dystopian world where contestants can enter to appear on a TV show, The Running Man, where they must elude police and authorities for an extended amount of time. If they're successful, they'll take home a huge cash prize, but for a month's time, they'll be hunted by men with shoot-to-kill orders. The Running Man is the latest in a Stephen King adaptation frenzy to enter development, as new versions of Salem's Lot, The Long Walk, Tommyknockers, From Buickgate, and Firestarter are all in various stages of development, plus TV series based on the Overlook Hotel itself and a Salem's Lot prequel.
To be honest with you, I'd rather have The Long Walk than Running Man. But I mean, here's the thing: who's here has read the
You
book?
got to have the Long Walk first
I read the
to
book.
work up to the Running Man.
Okay,
I
are they
will
going to
say
do?
it's one of the few ones I haven't read.
The
Okay,
Bachman
are,
books are one of my favorite groupings of short stories. I love what's in those books.
okay, Stephen. Without spoiling, do you think they'll do the ending of the book?
No,
I mean, it would be ballsy,
no.
but
Does it end in a child orgy?
not that
No.
ballsy.
And also, I think they're not going to do that entire book anyway, because isn't Rage in the original release of the Bachman books?
Yeah.
Rage was a
Boy,
story
that's
that
gone.
Stephen King has pushed that out of existence. It's not in print anymore.
I mean, I would love for them to do the ending of the book. I think we're in a post certain time world where you can't do that anymore.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. The Running Man, I think, Edgar Wright is an interesting story or interesting choice for that one because I don't think it's comedic in his way of being comedic.
Well, this is all going to depend on was it Last Night in Soho? This is solely going to depend on that because if he can't do horror, because that's supposed to be like straight horror.
Yeah.
If he can't do that, then I'm going to be like, I don't know about this, man.
Yeah, I just don't.
There's a cynicism to that book.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Stephen King was, messed up on cocaine the whole time he was doing that book and whiskey. But that story in particular has a lot of social commentary in it. I mean, and not saying that Edgar Wright can't do social commentary, but I have trouble with the idea that Edgar Wright can do social commentary without comedy. I mean, because you can look at Shaun of the Dead and it's got a lot of social commentary in it too, but it's hilarious. So I don't know. You guys haven't read the book?
So
No,
fun fact about the book: the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is like, it's not that.
I honestly have not read much of the Bachman books. Just
I highly recommend that.
I know, and I'm correcting a lot of my King holes that I have. Apparently, I couldn't remember Cujo very well because I swore up and down that the serial killer possessed the dog, but as I'm currently reading again, I guess maybe I watched Chucky and read it at the same time.
Well, and you don't want to know what's funny is, and it's just
or
an
maybe
era.
I was thinking of Christine. I don't know.
It's an era of Stephen King writing that's just so weird because I actually prefer what was done in the Cujo movie to the book.
Yeah, the ending of the book is just, I'm sorry, it's too dark.
I don't mind
it's realistic, but it's like,
that's not the thing I have the issue with. It's all like the supernaturally kind of stuff that I don't like. I mean, like literally Cujo gets bit by a rabid bat and starts killing. That's fine. That is enough. That is enough. Yeah. And it works really well in that movie. It was fun seeing Zach see it for the first time when we went together to see it. It was fun.
It was like one of the last movies we got to see in a theater.
You reminded me of that. I forgot that.
I mean, what are the odds?
This is what I was going to say. This is one thing I was going to say about Mortal Kombat that I forgot, Zach.
Yeah.
Is you and I are both vaccinated.
Yeah.
We could see that movie in the theater for my birthday.
Yeah, we could.
Do you want that to be your first movie back in the theater?
I mean, it wouldn't be my first movie back in the theater. It'd be Tenet. It was my first movie back in the theater.
No, I mean post that. Yeah. Yeah.
When does Mortal
Kombat
Kombat come out again?
Mid-April.
At this point, I'm just like, once I get the second vax, which is tomorrow, I'm like,
the day after me and Nico's birthday comes out.
Yeah, we won't be vaccinated by then, I don't think.
Well, who knows? Let's wait and see. There might be more opportunities coming. You never know.
And you know what else you can see?
What else can you see?
Speaking of Stephen King and remakes, Stephen King has been leaving an impact on the world of horror for such a long time, as obvious with our discussions, that many of his stories that have been brought to life for movies are getting updated adaptations, with director of the new Firestarter movie, Keith Thomas, weighing in on what will make his take on the material different from the 1984 film. While King's stories often embrace unsettling subject matter, again, as we've discussed, another key component of his works is the emotional connection he establishes between the readers and the characters. Thomas teases that his film will carry a heavier dramatic punch and says his film is leaning into more emotional aspects. It was leaning into parenthood and what that looks like, and then how do you raise a child, especially a child with abilities like the one seen in Firestarter. There's a lot of stuff in that book that isn't in the original film, so Thomas has a lot of wiggle room to add stuff from the books that didn't originally make the 80s version. The new Firestarter does not yet have a release date, but Zac Efron is slated to star. In the meantime, fans can get a taste of what's in store with The Vigil, a supernatural horror film steeped in ancient Jewish lore and demonology, in theaters February 26th, which is this Friday.
When was the last time you guys saw this movie, the original Firestarter?
God, years. I was still with my mom.
It had to have been over a decade ago, watching it on rerun on Sci-Fi or something.
Oh, well then then you saw it chopped up with commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bought this movie a couple of months ago, and it was the same for me. It's been more than 10 years since I saw it. But I remember seeing it as a kid, and George C. Scott is in that movie. And the movie,
all I remember from it really is being like, that's the girl from E.T.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's going to be really tough about this movie is little baby Drew Barrymore is so good in that movie. It's going to be hard to, I don't know, it's going to be hard to see somebody else in that role. But George C. Scott played not the main bad guy. He played a killer who works for the main bad guy. And in this story, at least as far as the movie, I have not read the book, but in the story, as far as the movie goes, is the main bad guy wants Drew Barrymore's character captured because they're trying to do experiments and, government shit like they always are. But George C. Scott's character has his own agenda because he believes if he can kill Drew Barrymore's character, like face to face, that he can take her power. And that, like, I watched a lot of horror movies, but there's a scene in that movie that resonated with me, and I watched it when I bought the Shout Factory release, and it still holds up, where he gets her in a barn and it's just the two of them and he's all up in her face and he talks about how he can punch her just right in the nose to send the bone back through her brain and kill her immediately and take her power. And it's like creepy as fuck. It's so creepy. I love that movie. It's got all this 80s camp to it, but it's just so good. I have mixed emotions about a remake of it. I don't know why everybody's so hot on Stephen King right now all of a sudden, though. Is anybody else?
I think it's because it did really well.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
So they're trying to capitalize on that.
Is anybody going to watch The Stand, the miniseries?
I mean, everything I've heard is
mixed
just
reviews. So
I keep hearing just meh about it, so I'm just like, why would I?
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I have to hear it from everybody.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my biggest problem with the original miniseries was the end, because the hand of God comes down and saves
yeah,
the
yeah.
And I'm like, it's just too easy, So I was hyped for the new miniseries because Stephen King wrote the ending specifically for this miniseries. He wrote a new ending. I thought he was course correcting for that.
He doubled down.
Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah,
he did.
The ending that's in that miniseries and apparently is also in the book happens just pretty much as it did in the original miniseries with better CGI. The ending that he wrote is a coda that happens after that. And it's 2 fucking full hours of unnecessary drama.
Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, The Stand season 1, 23% audience.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
57 critic, but that audience score being that low.
Ooh. I think the fortunate thing with Stephen King material is that there's so much of it.
Yeah, there's tons.
You could do the shotgun approach and dump money in so many different Stephen King projects that you'll likely make money at some point.
Honestly, I'd rather see, instead of like having a remake of The Stand, I'd rather see a series of Sleeping Beauties, because that's like, that just sounds interesting. I don't know if you guys know much about it, but it's basically women across this town and across this like area of cities and stuff. Start going start going almost like kind of comatose and like are wrapped in like this weird cocoon almost. Mm-hmm. It's like anytime somebody tries to release a girl or free them, they'll come out and start going like all zombie crazy and like killing people. So it's like this weird like metamorphosis illusion, and it sounds so fascinating. I have it on my stack of books to read that's 50 books high. So, but I
And
want to see
see,
that.
I agree with you. Like what you said, Nico, there's so much content out there. We keep going back to the well of things that have already been done. I want to see a good big movie of The Cell. I love that book.
Yeah, well, and the reason I bring that up is because it feels like the kickoff of this kind of King adaptation renaissance that we're in right now was it. It did so well.
Yeah.
But what came out just before it? Dark Tower.
That
Bombed.
Yeah.
But it did not dent.
I
or have
mean,
any
to be
impact on
fair, the
anybody
first
going, it's like, maybe we shouldn't
the first
adapt
Dark
to more
Tower
CW.
book is balls as well. So
yeah.
source
I mean,
material
You
there.
literally were not kidding here. It is literally the hand of God.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
the original ending?
Oh my!
Yeah,
no, I'm
it's-
watching the new one, and I'm like, oh Jesus!
You remember that
Yeah.
hand in the Zelda games?
It's like a
Yeah,
hand
that.
made of clouds.
Yeah.
Oh God!
It's bad, man. It's bad. Okay.
Double down.
And I think I think the Outsider TV series did well enough that they were like, okay, let's start doing more stuff like that as well. So
Okay, Outsider is an interesting thing because I tried to watch it and it was kind of like Game of Thrones when I first tried to watch Game of Thrones. I just keep falling asleep during it.
yeah.
I should just put it on at night because
See,
it's
that's the problem I
very,
had with it. I
it's
was
so
I got bored.
specifically meditative in its delivery. Like everybody is
Honestly-
monotone talking, and I know that was on purpose, but it's
yeah,
like
honestly, what they should have done instead of going straight to Outsider, they should have done the Bill Hodges trilogy, which is fascinating in and of itself. Think
Mhm.
about serial killer who has the ability to like mind swap and jump into different bodies. So
there's a really great Denzel Washington movie from the 80s that already does that though. I think it's called Fear. It's really good.
the only fear I know is the one where Reese Witherspoon's dog gets its head cut off and shoved through the doggy door.
Okay.
Y'all remember that movie, Fear?
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that was Reese Witherspoon. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
All right.
This is fucking dumb, man. People are
Oh,
getting
you-
hit by like a piece of lightning and literally being cut in half and disintegrated. What is this shit?
Yeah, it's terrible CGI too.
This is fucking
Yeah.
dumb, man.
I told
Like,
you.
like
All right. Let's see. Where are we now? Back to Nico.
Nequo.
Yep, it is back to me. Deadline is confirming that Ari Aster and Joaquin Phoenix are working on a new A24 film. Aster worked with A24 on horror films Hereditary on Midsommar, and now he's working on Disappointment Boulevard with Joaquin Phoenix,
that's where
which is
Zach
described
lives.
yeah, I take a precedence there.
It is described as, quote, an intimate, decade-spanning portrait of one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time, end quote. Aster's Hereditary earned $44 million at the domestic box office for A24, while Midsommar tapped at just under $30 million in the domestic. So he's making some decent chunk of change for A24. Hopefully some of that fresh off a Joker Oscar win, Joaquin Phoenix is going to up that a bit.
I love Joaquin Phoenix in an Ari Aster movie, but this description of what it is kind of terrible.
I thought the same
Yeah.
thing about Midsommar first.
Yeah, I was just gonna say some of his movies are weird to describe, and given of the two movies that Aster has done in this description, I detest one and really enjoy another one. So
Which
I
one what do you
detest one
detest?
and haven't.
I hate
Hereditary.
Hereditary. Yeah, I hate Hereditary. I really liked Midsommar.
I
You've
detest
seen
one
Midsommar?
and haven't seen
wait.
Midsommar.
Yes,
Okay,
Tina
you're the
hasn't
one
seen
who-
it.
Yeah.
Tina's the one who asked.
Which
Uh,
we're fixing my birthday weekend,
When is that?
March 22nd.
Okay. So
Director's
so
cut.
weekend after next, we're watching something else then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm kind of leaning more in your direction on that, Nico. Is I kind of liked aspects of Hereditary the first time we saw it, and then I saw it again, and I don't know. I turned on that movie in a big way. It didn't hold up for me. There's some acting in it that I think is atrocious. A lot of things I didn't like, but Midsommar, damn.
Midsommar
Yeah, I mean, to be-
is one of those like Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, to be fair, I haven't seen Midsommar a second time yet, but I still came out of it liking it enough. It was on my top 10 for that year. It's just a well-made movie.
The small, subtle things about that movie really
Careful.
pay off.
Yeah, careful, Zach.
No.
Getting into it.
There's a lot of small things.
No.
That you won't pick up your first viewing, and then you go back to a second, third time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh wow,
It was somewhat
good.
But I will tell you something that Zach and I did discover when we spot checked the Blu-ray here in.
Oh my god, the
theater.
floor!
It's gonna rattle your brains, boy.
The floor was shaking. It's
Those subs were kicking.
This is some good shit.
Yep. So it's gonna be. And I have a brand new bulb I'll put in that weekend for your birthday.
Yay!
Reserve it till then.
I want to come to see you when I need to install a bulb, apparently.
Oh no, you can come now. You got vaxxed.
I mean, I get vaxxed tomorrow.
You get your last shot, you good to go. Them's the rules, sir. All right. Moving forward into TV.
I hope y'all are seeing that Biscuits is being very snuggly.
I'm just happy I'm not looking at Biscuits' butthole. That's just what I'm happy about.
Biscuits is a cat for our audio listeners.
I was gonna say, yeah, no one wants to see Biscuits' butthole.
To see my very cute, snuggly cat and his butthole, should tune into the live video.
To the YouTube channel, yeah. All right, so there wasn't really a story, but Nico, you did share this, that the Loki got announced for June the 11th.
Yep.
That's
pretty
the premiere
much.
date.
Yeah, there's pretty much right after WandaVision, we're going into
Winter
Falcon and
Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that one's shorter. It's like 6 episodes maybe. So there's going to be maybe a short break before we get into Loki. But Loki's in June, so that's a lot of Marvel TV.
It is a lot of Marvel TV.
Ain't much else going on Disney Plus.
Well,
what it's probably going to do is WandaVision, then the new Assembled, then Falcon Winter Soldier, then the new season of Assembled, and then
Loki. Yeah, I agree. I was going to agree with you, Zach. This what they're doing right now, this bullshittery trickery of like a nonstop wall of Marvel TV is keeping me subscribed to Disney Plus.
I mean,
otherwise, yeah, it's working on me. It is working. I submit to.
I mean, it's fucking brilliant, though.
I submit to my Marvel lords because honestly, what I'm paying for Disney Plus, I would pay for Marvel TV. If you just gave me everything that they've got Marvel wise, and keep these shows coming, I don't need the rest of anything else they've got to offer. So it's working. It's working. And we have other shows coming this year, right? Isn't there other things after
Like Hawkeye's coming down the pipeline.
Hawkeye?
I believe She-Hulk and Moon Knight are supposed. I've heard rumors that they're going into production within the next few weeks.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. But we've had
I'm really
plenty of set shots of Hawkeye.
I'm really interested in seeing Hawkeye because they brought in Pizza Dog, which is a golden retriever named Lucky.
There you go.
So
yep.
A bit close to my heart.
Close to your heart. And it's looking, the screenshots are looking good. I wasn't super hype on it, but it's looking pretty good. You know, I'm still not sold on She-Hulk, but Moon Knight, oh my God, I hope they do that well. It's such a good character.
And Loki, I'm going to have to watch regardless, even if I didn't like the character, because apparently one of my friends worked like on set every day on it. So I support my friends.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, and apparently there's some aspects of Loki that are probably going to be tied into WandaVision, I think. Some minor bits and pieces. So let's talk about this most recent episode of WandaVision.
Nico walked around the house.
Spoilers, BT Dubs.
Yeah.
Mega spoilers for this week.
Nico walked around the house sing-songing. I was right. You were wrong for like the entire day. Because his money was on Agatha. Yeah, his money was on Agatha Harkness. Mine was on Mephisto. I still think mine might be Mephisto because I was reading up on Agatha Harkness, and she's not really a villain in the comics.
Yeah, see, my the cult shot I made was very narrowed. Mephisto may still be a thing. I have other theories about the show which haven't
especially considering the post-credit scene.
Yeah. But like the one thing is like Agnes, that's Agatha Harkness, and it's like called it.
Yeah.
I don't know who.
That's fine.
So that would be my first big sort of jab at this episode. I think this, to spoiler alert from what I think, is I kind of didn't like this episode.
No, I didn't like it either.
At all. And one of the big things I didn't like about it is the layers of information that you really get from it. You get if you have some history with the comics. This one leaned on the comics to me too much.
Like I had to look up Agatha Harkness because I wasn't too familiar with her as a character, and then I had to look up even Nico didn't really remember about the connection to the Nexus for the commercial.
I didn't either.
So,
I didn't either.
Yeah, I generally agree. I also don't like this genre of sitcom, this era of sitcom.
Oh yeah,
So I actually liked the first.
It just feels sloppy.
Seasons. I liked the first few seasons of Modern Family, and I don't watch sitcoms, but I did like it. But I think their execution of this one was the worst execution of all of them.
Yeah, even if I don't like the 50s, laugh track,
you got to admit they did a great job.
They did an absolutely fantastic job, nailing it. This one, I think, felt so sloppy. It felt
this
like
one kind of
purity.
It felt cringy almost.
This one feels like I think it's the fact that it's the one they're least removed from. Mm-hmm. So they probably feel like they don't have to put as much effort in it. But it feels like it's probably easier to copy that style. But because it's easier to copy that style, it just comes across as a copy as opposed to really doing it.
And I even think I even think Elizabeth Olsen didn't do as good a job acting as she did in the previous ones.
Yeah.
There's a difference in homaging something and doing something so well you feel a part of it. Like when you watch, my favorite example is when you watch Devil's Rejects. It doesn't feel like an homage to 70s Grindhouse. It feels like it's fucking 70s Grindhouse.
Yes.
And she felt like her acting in the first few, especially up to Brady Bunch, like she was an actress from those eras. This one felt like she was just trying her best to homage something. And it just, to me, it didn't play.
The Wanda bits I was less interested in. I really liked the Darcy and Vision aspects. Like I liked those two characters playing off of each other.
I like Darcy. Zach hates her.
Oh, I hate Darcy. I'm like, but the problem is that you have to be with Darcy. So it's half awful.
I also felt like assembly-wise, this one was not as fluid. I felt like they took a bunch of elements and just sort of slapped them on a canvas. It didn't feel.
We'll figure it out and edit it.
It didn't feel like it flowed as well. It's like, oh, here's this, here's that, here's this. It just, to me, just felt really messy.
I think what it is for me, at least, is they spent too much time going through each decade that now they kind of have to rush the ending.
Maybe.
So.
So we could have had two earlier. Episode 1 and 2 could have been better.
Yeah. But I will say, Monica Rambeau has definitely grown on me. Which, granted, I liked her anyway because Captain Marvel. But the fact that she's coming into her powers and getting even more of a badass, that for me really helped me like this.
Her becoming more powerful and getting her powers felt like a natural evolution of the character based on what we've observed.
It did and it didn't, because Darcy went through the wall too.
Yeah, but she's been through
as many
3 times, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It feels
and who's to say Darcy doesn't have powers?
She doesn't.
She doesn't. I hope to God she doesn't.
We know she doesn't.
Darcy's fucking.
And also, all the people that have been or who are inside it must have went through it at some point.
Yeah, everybody. Well, yeah, it's basically Monica's the only one who has gone in multiple times because everybody else who's inside has only gone in once.
Yeah.
Whereas Monica's gone in, come out, gone right back in.
Yeah.
I guess it just feels like not unique enough somehow.
And it also could be something like Snap related too, because
or something
her body has been through various serious amounts of trauma very recently,
and they have an opportunity to deal with that at some point, and maybe not even in WandaVision itself, because she's that they're building this character up. She's probably going to be in Captain Marvel 2, or she's going to be maybe in an Avengers movie or maybe a Fantastic Four movie even. My question is, which name is she going to use? Obviously,
Photon.
You think Photon?
Yeah, I mean that's what her call sign was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, that's good because I was talking with someone about it. I'm like, there's no way she could use Captain Marvel or Nebula because those are taken. So yeah, Photon I guess is cool. I'm fine with that.
So let me ask y'all this, because this is my issue of the episode. Get ready here, Steven.
And I tried to play devil's advocate in our pre-show discussion about this, but go ahead.
Cite with evidence proof that Agnes was set up to be the villain. Outside of, you cannot use the comics. Using this show. I
don't know if she is the villain. It's
no,
still
I
too
still
early.
maintain that she's not the villain. I think it's a fake out.
Yeah, I'm not citing anything to claim she's the villain.
But the show went back and said, I killed the dog and I did this and I did that.
Yeah, we lost.
Maybe Sparky was like a spy for Mephisto. Maybe she had to kill Sparky. Who knows? They could explain it away.
Okay, well then that would annoy me though, because
that would piss me the fuck off.
We spent 2 minutes. We spent 2 minutes listening to her theme song. And I'm the one.
I think she's involved. So okay, my hesitation is I don't want to call anything because I think there's still plenty of room for them to pull a rug out.
Mm-hmm. And we don't know who wrote the message in Wanda's theme.
But yeah, okay. So my point stands. Cite evidence that
I'm trying to get to that, Zach.
Yeah,
if you let me talk.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the show has done a particularly good job of having that Agnes character butt in an exceptional amount of time. While it can come across in the early episodes as that kind of nosy neighbor in a 50s sitcom, it kept happening often, every episode. And the amount of times that character was constantly pretty much just watching and in there, I think made it suspicious. I was suspicious, and you
were suspicious in episode 2.
Yeah, I was suspicious by the second episode because she keeps popping up, and around the time usually when like Vision has to quickly turn into his human guise or something. So yeah, I think they did a decent job making her suspicious.
So there's two scenes that bother me in that in that version. There's two scenes. One is in her theme music. There's a shot of her from either episode 1 or episode 2 doing her little hand movements like she's casting a spell. But we see that shot.
And
almost that it's like, and she wasn't doing it. So this is like some
I have to go. It feels like we need to make the story work, so we need to retcon.
Oh, are you talking about where she's sitting at the table?
Yeah.
I mean, that could easily be explained as she's doing the hand motions while the camera's focusing.
Well, okay, but we've had this discussion. If you have to explain it to me, then it wasn't well done to begin with.
There's no moment you can point to in the show and go, oh, there it was in front of us the whole time.
We don't see her. We don't see her when Quicksilver comes in, but
but there's no smoke and shit coming off of Quicksilver's jacket or anything.
We also know that
if there was subtle things like that,
we don't know because she opens the door and stares for a while before we actually see him. So
we know that this whole thing is
could have wrote anyone to be that.
We know that this whole thing has an unreliable narrator because Wanda herself is an unreliable narrator. We aren't necessarily seeing everything, and going into that, I understood that as a concept, so I didn't have a problem with that.
$5 on the table, they don't fix this.
So here's the other thing.
Don't think it's a problem to fix, so fine.
Here's the other thing, is if she was the villain all along, or one of the villains, if there's multiples, or whatever it is she's doing, why was she setting out hypnotized in her car? Where Vision had to come and wake her up, and he touched her and woke her up. And
he had to do the thing to get her out. Yeah, don't tell me he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
she was acting. Well, I mean, I thought the theme song bit portrayed that she was acting. Like basically,
so Vision touched her, and whatever he did.
But wait, hang on.
Didn't do anything. Is what it is. She made that up. She was acting.
We literally see her head blow.
Agatha Harkness's magic is superior to.
No,
you are using the comics. I'm talking the show.
I disagree with you on that, Zach. Because if this thing is all magic based, then she can make Vision see whatever the fuck she wants him to see. That didn't bother me. My issue was she was sitting out there by herself before he showed up, and it just seemed.
I mean, I mean, we haven't gotten. I mean, it left us on too much of a unanswered cliffhanger for us to fully discuss this.
Well, that goes back to my
Uh,
comment. It feels
yeah.
like an incomplete episode.
Well, yeah,
But yeah, we don't know if maybe she is one of the ones. If she gets too close to the barrier, it does affect her like it does everybody else. And when Vision did the, she just had to like on the fly act.
Mhm.
But she could just have her own motivations for being out there that we don't know yet.
my
There's
theory on
so
that
much that's unanswered.
my theory on that
how it
one
ended.
is my theory on that one is that she was trying to she wanted Vision to go to her as he had done already with another character to kind of relapse them to waken them
Mhm.
up to try to further split Vision and Wanda apart.
Yeah.
Now, how does Agnes know that Vision can do that? She wasn't
She probably
around
knows everything
anywhere
that's-
else.
Well,
She probably
okay.
knows everything that's happening.
Yeah,
here.
if Agnes is the great puppet master, like they set her up to be in that episode, then yes, of course, I don't have an issue. Of course she would.
Yeah,
You should
But-
know
I'm
everything.
saying
that
the
title card in the
foundational.
Wanda opening where it says, "I know what you're doing, Wanda." So
I mean, to
that
me,
implies a sense of like an
Omnipotence.
I mean,
Thank you.
based on the
Presence.
show so far, I do not see a sufficient groundwork for foundational, setup for this character to suddenly have this.
All right.
I see. I don't. I
I don't
Without
agree.
having to
As
go
much-
back and say you actually didn't.
as
see
much
this
as I
is what's
disagree
going
with
on.
as I agree with you that this episode was kind of a fucking mess. I disagree on that particular reasoning because I think if she is the puppet master like they set her up to be, there's no reason she shouldn't have all of that.
Well, then you
Um,
need to go back to your previous episodes and have subtleties that suggest this.
Okay. Well,
Not
Okay.
everything
Okay.
has to be
Let's
spelled
wrap
out
it
for
up.
people.
Okay. So the last thing that I question is, for some reason they chose to make an effort to spend a couple of lines to let us know that WandaVision isn't being broadcast anymore. They actually say it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so they say it, and then Agnes's great music thing happens. I'm like, who is that playing for? We haven't been breaking the fourth wall this whole time. Who is it playing for now if it's not being broadcast?
I don't know yet. Next episode.
I don't think we're gonna know. I think that's a mistake.
All
I
right.
mean, I hope you're right. I hope we'll know.
I mean,
But
I just
I
like
hope
to
I'm
think
full of
Mephisto's
shit
just
and wrong.
watching it all.
You think Mephisto's watching it all?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
So
really
that I
do
can be
hope I'm
right
full
and do
of
the
shit.
sing-song voice.
Okay, so if you end up being right, you have to do the sing-song voice on the show.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. I don't know. I guess the biggest success of the show is it's water cooler worthy to discuss.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's a
it
cool
is.
thing.
And it's been a while since we've had a water cooler-esque show.
It may have been since I don't know, Game of Thrones probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Nico.
All right.
Sure.
According to Business Insider, Disney plans on launching a new general entertainment streaming
Okay,
platform.
fine, bitch.
What?
What?
This was my story that I took from you.
Oh,
so
that's
okay.
right. We did switch it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tina. I do apologize.
Go ahead, Tina.
According to Business
Thank
Insider,
you.
See, Steven, this is why you should have done that the first.
Disney plans to launch a new general entertainment streaming platform overseas in 2021 under the Star brand name. Not many details about the platform are known, including in which country Star would launch or pricing, but CEO Bob Chapek noted that it would include content from ABC, FX, Freeform, Searchlight, and 20th Century Studios. Star will not carry licensed content from non-Disney sources, unlike Disney's other general entertainment streaming service, Hulu. Disney has surpassed 60 million Disney Plus subscribers worldwide and 100 million subscribers
lot.
overall between Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. Streaming remains the lone bright spot for the company, which saw major revenue drops this quarter. No word on if Star is replacing Hulu locally, which doesn't have much international recognition. The
I was
Star name,
literally looking that up because I was curious.
the Star name comes from when Disney acquired Indian media and entertainment conglomerate Star India, and subsequent streaming service Hotstar as part of the Fox deal. Has nothing to do whatsoever with When You Wish Upon a Star. That company then changed the name to create Disney Plus Hotstar, uniting the two brands. Now, Star is known as Disney's Star India.
So I don't understand exactly what they're doing. Why didn't they just bring the Hulu brand over there?
It could be licensing issues. It could be.
But they own the
some
license.
copyright.
Well, part of it is the existing brand of that Indian company is apparently a big name brand internationally. So they were just aping on that one. Whereas here, Hulu is a big name brand here. So it kind of makes sense to focus on that. I don't know. And the article didn't really have a lot of details, but I don't really know if which one they want to prioritize globally. Maybe they want Hulu to be a bit different. Like it is, like it says, Hulu does do something that is kind of unique amongst the rest of the content, in which it's not wholly Disney content. It's not. It has licensed material. That is a legacy thing from when Disney didn't outright own Hulu. That might not be something that they want to have going forward. They might want to phase out licensed content in the future.
I wonder about that, because do you see somebody like Warner Brothers wanting to license their stuff to Disney, even if it's for Hulu? So they may not have a choice at some point. As licenses run out, they may not have a choice.
And even less so Warner Brothers, but more so like NBC has Peacock, CBS has CBS All Access.
Warner Brothers has HBO Max.
Yeah, Warner Brothers has HBO Max, but I mean, I'm definitely looking at these other networks that like where you pick up your other sitcom shows that people go to Hulu to watch and everything. It's like all their parent Viacom, Paramount, all of these companies are just getting their own streaming services. And yeah, exactly. Where is Disney going to get content for Hulu unless it's stuff that they have made for Hulu?
It could be really interesting if that's where we start to see all the Fox stuff, the R-rated Fox things, like the story we got coming up in a minute. But it's weird. I feel like I don't know what the focus is. I guess they have something going on. Disney's better at this than Warner Brothers has been.
Yeah.
But I like Hulu. I have fear, because I really do like Hulu. I think they're smaller as far as content wise than the other guys, but I like how they do things. Their app is kind of shit, I know, but the way their stuff is curated, I think, is better. So I'm just afraid of what they're going to do to it. Why don't we go ahead?
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Also, for those who don't have Discovery Plus, Hulu is where you could also watch 90 Day Fiance.
And don't you imagine that even that's going to go away at some point? Because I think some of that is owned by NBC Universal. So I think they'll be, once licenses are up, they'll probably pull that over to Peacock, which also is
it's already on. Yeah, I mean, it's already on its own streaming network on Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus, yeah.
Yeah.
Craziness. It's too many. Zach, why don't we do your story since it's tied into this?
All right. So, as it's well known, Ridley Scott's Alien is already available on 4K Blu-ray, but it's being reported that the 3 subsequent films, finally, are soon getting the same treatment. According to the site, Aliens, Alien 3, and Aliens Resurrection. I haven't heard of those. Those two? There's only Alien and Aliens.
Oh, was there?
They ended it on like the best note. They're all undergoing a 4K remaster for a planned 4K Ultra HD box set that could see release next year, hopefully. So 2022, they're finally going to happen. Now, here's my fear.
But the reason this connects to the previous story is that there's speculation that it's being done because they want to put the 4K over on
Disney Plus via the Star Hub.
Well, it couldn't be on Disney Plus because they're R-rated. So maybe Hulu here, or maybe they'll have this whole thing worked out by 2022.
I mean, I thought Star was supposed to be, like the more adult stuff.
Well, but I mean, that's the question we've had is Hulu could be that here now if they would just do it.
I mean, just give me the physical disc copy. I don't care about streaming.
Well, yeah,
let's be real. I don't care.
Fair enough. Yeah, because Disney announced last year, with quite a bit of fanfare, that they weren't going to be putting catalog titles out in 4K anymore.
Which, I mean, I think they've gone back on because of
They had to have if they're doing this, and like you said it when we were
They're
talking
doing
earlier.
Speed,
Yeah.
and it's got the Disney, not the Disney label, but it's got that like packaging where it's like Ultimate Collector's Edition on it, which is dumb.
Which will come out again in another different.
Yeah, it'll
packaging
come out in
years.
another packaging. Like they did that for Wreck-It Ralph, and I'm like, dude, that's gonna get a 4K here next year.
And I'm mildly annoyed because when they made that announcement, I went ahead and I didn't pay much money. I think I paid, $20 or a little less than that. I went ahead and just bought the entire like quadrology, the last really nice set they put out of the Aliens
Yeah,
movie.
it's a good set.
Yeah, it's a good set. It's like a really great bonus feature. So I don't know if it'll go away because we don't know what condition the 4Ks are going to come in, if they're going to have all the stuff.
The
But
only
yeah,
thing
I did that because I was afraid they weren't going to be dropping this stuff in physical anymore.
I mean,
Now
we've
they are.
seen the 4K DCP of Alien, and
Yeah.
we can agree it's probably one of the better ones
It's beautiful.
we've seen. I mean,
Mhm.
what's the best 4K DCP you've seen?
I mean, Jaws, maybe?
I would go Blade Runner or Aliens or Alien or
Yeah,
I mean, it's Ridley Scott, man,
it's-
knows how to get the
yeah.
detail out of those. I mean,
Yeah,
I can see the peach fuzz on her face. Okay?
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver needed to shave, boy.
I could see it. Now, here's my worry. These are undergoing a 4K remaster, which hooray!
Mhm.
But
Disney's
one of
4K
these
is
is
not-
directed by James Cameron.
Yeah,
And James Cameron.
yeah.
How'd that
that's a,
T2 4K come out?
yeah. How'd that True Lies 4K come out?
What can we get True Lies on
How
Blu-ray
did the
first?
Blu-ray come out? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the
so-
problem: is that he's going to DNR the shit out of it, and it's going to be as bad as T2, or he's going to recolor grade it.
I'm hoping that they learned a lesson from Terminator 2. Literally the worst physical media 4K. That's
I mean, there's a reason why that disc goes on sale for cheap.
yeah.
Because
I
nobody.
mean, I
wants
have
it.
the set, and I'll just be happy to watch the Blu-ray that's in the
Dude,
box.
I kept my Skynet edition. Wait, I got them steely blues. Yeah, those nasty shit greens. I don't have to deal with censorship. I got the original cut of the film. It's great. But
right.
that's what worries me about Aliens is it's like, it's going to be DNR'd.
Well,
because the 2K DCP was DNR'd.
Well, and I'm worried anyway because Disney doesn't have a reputation of doing great 4Ks.
Yeah.
You know who does? Sony. If Sony were doing
as much as I hate Sony, their 4K blues are
They're-
outstanding.
yeah, all the way from the early days with like The Shallows. That's a beautiful 4K.
Absolutely, not that great movie, but I mean,
it's a fine
presentation's
movie,
great.
but a beautiful 4K.
Yeah.
There's some things you can buy if you want to buy some physical media this week.
Speaking of physical media, did you buy anything recently, Steven?
Oh, yeah. So Nico and Tina, I don't know if you guys knew this. It sort of happened all of a sudden, and I messaged Zach about it.
I saw
blew
it.
him up.
Oh,
Like
the
I got an
Criterion
email
sale.
about it.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
I got the message about it too. They had a flash sale, so I immediately went to Criterion. And Zach, I got to tell you what happened to me. It kind of sucks. And I just put maybe a fourth of the things that I want from Criterion
Maybe
into.
a fourth.
I mean, literally, there's so many things I still want from them. I put it in a cart, and I sent a picture of it to Zach. I'm like, oh, here's $140 right here. So I got so many other things that I'm pre-ordering that I knew I had to narrow it down, but it got done for me because literally in the hours, I put my cart together and then I went to eat dinner and I just wanted to think about it or whatever.
That's a
Things
mistake.
were going out of stock.
Sold out.
Things like it had already been going for over a dozen hours by the time I even went and looked at it. And some things like Crash, the Criterion Crash, already gone. They were
Yeah, but you
already
can get
sold
that
out.
on 4K though.
I was going to say, I just got to compare the bonus features. That's the only thing.
All right, I can do that.
Yeah, because the other side of it is if you look at Do the Right Thing, for example, everyone's talking about the comparison of the 4K and the Criterion Blue, and they're real close. Like they're really close from everything I've been seeing. So I don't know. It really is going to lay into bonus features. But anyway, by the time I got back and decided to make a purchase, more than half of what I had in my cart were gone, out of stock. I ended up getting 4 titles. I got Dazed and Confused. I bought Day Trippers. I bought.
I'm sensing a theme.
Well, you know what it is. You know what it is? Is I bought so much horror in the last handful of months that I decided I needed things.
I need a good copy of Days
Yeah.
Confused.
Yeah, I needed some. Day Tripper is not what you think. That's not anything to do with Beatles.
No, but just going off of the name, I had to make that joke.
It's pretty funny. So I got that, and I got Lost in America. What was the other movie I got? Oh no, that's it. I only got 3. I bought those 3.
So,
yeah.
Real quick, about Crash.
Yeah.
The Arrow has more.
Has more bonus features.
But
the
Criterion has commentary from David Cronenberg.
Oh God. See?
But it's a archival one from 1997.
It doesn't matter. It's still a commentary on his own movie.
So do you want more bonus with the fold out, the packaging?
I mean,
this
sounds like the answer is both.
¿Por qué no los dos?
So probably what is going to happen, I'll tell you right now, probably what's going to happen, because I love commentaries. I mean, that's when I'm working here in this room. Lots of times I'll put a movie in and just turn the commentary on and listen to it. Is I will buy the 4K because it sounds like it's going to be a better presentation and it has more bonuses. And then I'll keep an eye out at our local used place for the other one used.
I mean, you get more. You get more audio tracks with the Arrow as well. The Criterion only has a 5.1, and then the Arrow has a 5.1 and 2.0 stereo. So if you want the theatrical experience, got that.
There you go.
I'm just saying, it's like it's a toss up because it's like this one has more, but this one's missing a few. But
yeah, I mean,
but this one's in 4K and this one's not.
And well, the 4K is the most important. Getting a good presentation of the movie is probably the most important thing.
It's the same scan.
Yeah, but we actually get the 4K versus a crushed down 1080p.
Come on, Criterion, get it together.
Yeah, I
mean, for shit's sake, y'all announce a 4K new restoration of Fast Times at Ridgemont High and give me a 1080p Blu-ray. So you know what the argument is with that is, I think they're waiting until they can do it better than everybody else. I think I would bet they're working on it, because the fact is, so many Criterion Blu-rays don't look that much worse than the 4Ks that come out. Honestly, I think Parasite is one that actually shows a pretty solid difference. Yeah, the Parasite 4K is holy shit good.
Yeah. So you can get the Crudes a new age this week. You can get the Blu-ray. You can get the 4K. They even put out a 3D of it. And Target has an exclusive digibook. This is like...
Go get that #1 at the box office movie.
This feels like physical media 5 years ago with that many editions.
Yeah.
There's a Crudes 2-movie collection out. You can get the first one too. Pump Up the Volume is out. That's an 80s Christian Slater movie. Lady Sings the Blues. And there's a John Hughes 5-movie collection that's out.
Which 5?
I don't remember.
Give me a second.
I know Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is in there. I think Breakfast Club is in there.
Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, She's Having a Baby, Pretty in Pink, and Some Kind of Wonderful. So if you're looking for the Breakfast Club, I guess you can get fucked.
If you want the Breakfast Club, go get that Criterion.
That's the Criterion. Yeah. That had a 4K restoration too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day we'll get that, too.
Well, but you know what? Then the studio put out a new version of that movie, but they didn't put a 4K out. All they did was put the Blu-ray out in a locker box.
Yeah, and that's my point. Stupid. Is maybe one day I'll finally own that movie on 4K.
The Criterion is a pretty nice presentation. I'm real happy.
Oh yeah, I'm never saying Criterion does a bad presentation. I'm just saying y'all could be the diamond tier, but I guess you'll settle for the gold tier.
So what you were saying earlier about Criterion being like some of their releases are just so like art house elitist, kind of like bullshitty.
Yeah,
it's real. That to hammer that home, when this sale was going on, I went and just hit all to list all their Blu-rays and dug through just to click the things that I wanted.
Just no. I
was like, no. Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, fuck you. No. French New Wave. No, eat shit. No, I'm not doing that.
Y'all doing a 22 movie set on some French fucking guy. I don't care.
Yeah, no. You talking about the Fellini set?
Like
it's
Fellini,
expensive as hell.
And like,
people like.
Artist.
I mean, Fellini is. it's not for me, but I understand. I mean, if you're into that genre, I guess there's.
I mean, I respect them for putting them out. I respect them for doing the work and putting them out really nice. That
But
doesn't mean I have to
some
give
of
a
it
shit.
just feels too much. It just feels too
And
much.
on the other side of the flip coin, there's sometimes where I'm like, yeah, y'all are just friends with the director. Y'all put that shit out, right?
Yeah, probably.
Paul,
Oh, you mean
Well,
like
Anders.
you mean like Hansu?
No, they put out Hausu because it was,
Because
I can
what?
make an
Speaking
argument for
of
Hausu. I can't put
Hausu.
an argument out for what was that Japanese film that was got a Criterion release? Fish Eyes or what
I
was
don't
that?
know.
What was that movie?
I don't know.
I don't know, but if you buy it, we'll borrow it from you and never return it.
Perfect.
Well, I mean,
All right,
another pandemic could hit. So,
It could happen. Nico, what do we have for the comic this week?
all right, this week's comic pick of the week is the Magnificent Mrs. Marvel issue 18. It is the last issue of this run. Miss Marvel, which the current iteration was introduced in 2013, Kamala Khan, young Pakistani Muslim American who is infatuated with superheroes, finds out that she gets superpowers and becomes the local superhero of Jersey City in New Jersey. It's a fun, adorable run. Originally written by G. Willow Wilson, the current run by Saladin Ahmed is coming to an end. He's written the last 18 issues. It's a fun book. I like the character a lot. I would recommend checking out this run and the previous run. Not only is it the end of this run, it is also the 75th total issue of all Miss Marvel of Kamala Khan's run since it was started in 2013. So it's an extra large kind of celebration issue.
I just couldn't connect with that book. It's not even a drag on the quality. It seemed like a really well done book. It just, I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I tried to.
You don't like kids.
Yeah.
Jellyfish Eyes. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's.
Wow.
That movie fucking sucked. And they got a Criterion release. Fuck you. Okay, I'm done.
What is it? The Colors movies also got Criterion releases. Yeah, they're terrible too. And I haven't even watched them all the way through.
Yeah, but dude, this movie is shit.
Yeah. Anyway, about Miss Marvel though, I would recommend it even though I didn't like it. For me, because it's not a like thing. I just couldn't connect with it. And it's funny that that's your book of the week since they announced casting for that character.
Yeah, I think it's a good title, and if you want to give it a look, see, be a good way to figure out if you will be interested in the character. There is a Disney Plus Miss Marvel show. The character was cast a few weeks ago, so go check it out, and then check out the show. Probably in a year or two when it makes its way to Disney Plus.
Yep. And you can see Nico's write-up and the cover art for that comic over on Culturesmash.tv, as well as a link to the rest of the books. If you want to see what I was out there and get yourself a funny book, it's highly recommended. All right, y'all. It was an epic episode.
Yep.
Just like last week. Actually, not as
Check
long
out
as
that
last
link
week.
I posted in the chat, and just keep in mind this got a Criterion release.
Do not trust any link.
Yeah, I'm not.
That is a reasonable. That is a reasonable.
It's a
assessment.
YouTube link to a trailer. Just keep in mind this got a Criterion release.
Don't trust
All
it.
right, Nico, where do we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Nico Scream, NIKOSCREAM. For Instagram, you'll find photos of snow and puppies, and Twitter, it's mostly D&D stuff.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram under Cheddar Popper, CHEDRPOPPR. I too post photos of puppies, but more often than not, books that I'm reading. If you want to see the puppy all the time, go to the.shadow.pupper on Instagram.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Master of the Matrix 91. You can also find me on Steam as well as Discord. I'm a dangerous mute lunatic. I finished Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
And
you
that's about all
finally finished something.
Yeah, I finished it. And
I'm so proud. Sorry,
I hated
KJ.
it. I think I hated that whole game. I think that game is just, it's like spinning wheels in like snow
He just
or
keeps
mud.
going at this point. He doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
he
whole
blocked it
ending
out.
is just bullshit. Like the whole ending happens, and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. I play 14 hours in this game, and I just don't give a fuck.
All right, so find me
Again,
over
poor
on
KJ.
Poor KJ is right. Find me on most things, Culture Smash, mostly Facebook, and just look me up by name on Facebook. I'm usually posting pictures of cats. And Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube, talking about physical media, just like everybody should be.
We should have an episode where we talk through pictures of our pets, like those
Yeah.
filters. That way it's like
Oh man.
Are we gonna be like Lawyer
Oliver
Cat?
and Biscuits and Shadow and
We should just come
Haley.
on with
We only
our
have
cats.
one pet.
We'll take one of Steven's. He has two.
Yeah, you can borrow one of mine. You guys
Okay.
can have Oliver. We'll see
I
about you
have a
next
feeling
week.
Oliver would kick Shadow's ass.
Oh,
Bye,
for
everybody.
sure. No doubt. No doubt.